Bryan Gohl, you're a biohacker, wellness guru who has the consistency and determination of a true champion. I'm absolutely inspired by your videos every day of working out. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting abs just watching you.
Thank you so much.
Your love for health and wellness started at a tender age of 5, and apparently it's your father who introduced you to fitness by teaching you how to do push-ups. And I wish I had a photo to share of you at 5 doing push-ups. And then after many years exploring various forms of wellness, in 2017, you founded Red Light Rising with James Strong. So today I'd really like to talk. I'm so excited about learning more about red light therapy and how it can help you on your anti-aging journey. So talk to us a little bit today about how you started on this journey to red lights.
Yes, well, thank you so much for that great intro. Yeah, well, as you say, I was always kind of interested in health and wellness. It kind of started with, in the first instance with exercise and working out and wanting muscles and all that. But then in my 20s, I kind of changed my diet to vegetarianism, thinking that it was the healthiest thing to do for health. But unfortunately, I got quite sick. I experienced a lot of joint pain, a lot of digestive issues because of the high amounts of vegetables that I was eating. And I actually eventually got quite weak for whatever reasons. I had so much pain in my body that I actually couldn't work out anymore. I had to stop lifting weights. Eventually, I had to stop doing yoga because the joint pain was so bad. So, being so desperate to kind of figure out what was wrong with me, or why I was in so much pain at such a young age, I was just reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, and eventually I stumbled across The Bulletproof Diet by Dave Asprey, which, a big part of the Bulletproof Diet, he talks about these things called biohacks. And biohacking is kind of a controversial term these days. I think it's
also a very buzzword, right? It's very buzzwordy right now.
Yeah. A lot of people, it's a great word. I like using it, and I think a lot of people just don't understand what it is, and so it seems a bit weird. It's the word bio, it conjures up images of like, biotechnology, like putting weird things in your body or whatever. But
yes.
In the sense that Dave Asprey coined it, really he was just referring to things like fasting, sauna, cold therapy, the high-fat diet, and red light therapy was something that he used to speak about a lot. And I had implemented everything else into my life. I eventually started eating meat again. I then went on to the high-fat diet, and I was taking, ice therapy and saunas and fasting and all these things. And the last thing was to try was red light therapy. But at the time, there was nothing available in the UK. And so myself and James, we kind of just did what we could to learn about it, and then eventually built our own lights, and then was just getting such great results from it that we were like, wow, this really, really, really works. And then we decided to start Red Light Rising to see if anybody else could benefit from these lights. And 5 years on or so, and it's been incredible, the journey that we've been on, because we have, I'm so happy to say, we've helped so many people with red light therapy. I never would have dreamed it.
So that's an incredible journey. And you seem really knowledgeable about all the different forms of wellness and health. And for me, I want to know, obviously, specifically, I know that red light therapy really helps with your healing. So if you're an athlete, it's really good to speed up the healing process and stuff. But I'm curious to know exactly how they work. Like, is it a different kind of light, or is it just a red bulb? What's the difference between that and what you can just get in a store?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because it is a very foreign treatment, because it is, like you said, it's a very, very bright red light. So briefly, red light therapy, when we use that phrase, we're in most instances talking about red and near infrared light. So most, if not all, red light therapy devices on the market, my company and everybody else is included, they use two different kinds of light. They use red light, which is red. It obviously clearly manifests as red. And then they use also near infrared light, which is invisible. And both these types of light do very similar things to the cells of the body, but they do it on different depths in the tissue. So in the context of what we're talking about here on this, this beauty themed show, beauty and anti-aging, we're mostly concerned with red light anyway, because red light does, it treats the cells on the outside of the body. So it treats the skin, it treats the eyes, the hair, the nails, even, if you were to open your mouth, you'd get some treatments in your mouth kind of thing. Whereas the near infrared goes deeper into the body. That goes into the muscles and the bones and the blood and the organs and all that, which is fantastic for you, obviously. But in the context of what we're speaking about here, red is most important. Now, what does this light do to the human body? So all the cells of the body are able to absorb light energy. So that's very, very obvious when you think about the skin, because you go out in the sun, you get a lovely tan. That's your skin reacting with the light. But it turns out that, it was accidentally discovered, but it turns out that red and infrared light is able to be absorbed by all the cells of the body. So think about your skin cells, your eyes, your nails, everything. And when it absorbs that light, it uses that light, in a kind of complex chemical way, but it basically ends up with, it causes the cells to release nitric oxide into the blood, which is great for circulation around the body and through the skin and all that. And then as that nitric oxide is released into the blood, it's replaced inside the cell by more oxygen. So the cell has more oxygen, and then when the cell has more oxygen, it creates more energy. When the cell has more energy, it does whatever its job is, it does it better, faster, more efficiently, with better results.
And that's what causes the rejuvenation of those cells, I guess.
Exactly. So that's why, like you say, red light therapy is so good for everything. And the reason it's so good for everything is because it has the same effect on all the cells of the body. So whether we're speaking to athletes that need to, get stronger muscles or repair their muscles, or we're speaking to, older generation people who have aches and pains, or we're speaking to people who are looking to improve their skin complexion, it all works the same way. The cells of the skin, they get more energy when they absorb this light. And the second very exciting thing that happens is that it causes, once the cells absorb this light, it actually causes them to release some natural anti-inflammatories into the bloodstream as well. So you're getting more energy and more anti-inflammatory benefits wherever you shine the light. And in almost all cases, it produces some pretty interesting results.
It sounds absolutely incredible that it works. So could you overuse these lights?
You can overuse them. So there is quite a bit of nuance, that is a great question. And that's why, like with my company especially, that's why we spend a lot of time creating guides, because we have so many devices, there's so many different ways to use them, and people need this information. So we've created a bunch of guides for all these different treatments and all these different lights. But yes, so with skin especially, it's actually less is more. You want a reasonable distance from the device, and you want only a few minutes a day, because the skin is obviously on the very outside of the body. It's already quite sensitive for most people. It absorbs a lot of light very, very quickly. So when it comes to red light therapy for the skin, less is more. And what happens is with too much red light, which, when I say too much, I'm talking about hours.
Okay.
I'm not talking like, oh my gosh, I had 3 minutes extra. Am I gonna wake up all wrinkly? It's like it's like I passed out in front of the light and I woke up 10 hours later and
Yeah.
now I've got some skin damage, you know. So
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to do yourself harm because it needs hours and hours and hours of exposure.
Okay. And so are there any contraindications? So are there any people that should never use this light, or is it for anybody?
It's for everybody. There is no contraindications at all in the science, nor with ever had any bad news. Sometimes there is what we call a healing crisis. Okay. And now a healing crisis is not, you know, it's not only for red light therapy, it's for everything. As soon as you do something to suddenly give your body all this extra support, sometimes it can like really ramp up the detox process. Because, you know, let's talk about red light therapy. So you give your body all this extra energy, and sometimes it uses that energy to get rid of a whole bunch of toxins that you might have had, you know, stored up in your fat or under your skin or somewhere else. So sometimes people get a flushing of the skin, you know, it looks like they're blushing, and then they
erythema,
panic.
yes.
Exactly. They panic and they think, oh my gosh, I've burnt or something like that. Or sometimes you get some other toxin kind of releases, maybe some spots and stuff like that. Is very, very rare, but it's only the initial once you start using it, because your body will purge whatever it needs to purge, or your skin will get rid of whatever it needs to get rid of. And then most often people report, you know, great appearance and a real change and in a positive way for the skin.
Right. And so in your opinion, what is the best way if somebody was using this for as part of their beauty regime, what would be the point at which you sort of implement this into the system? So you're cleansing, toning, moisturizing. Do you need a cream or something to wear? Like, should you be wearing a sunblock before you go in the light?
No, absolutely not. So for this kind of light, you want maximum coverage and penetration. So I'm not 100% familiar with a lady's facial routine, but what I will say is that it should be done before you put any other creams or liquids or anything on your face. Okay. So if it's the morning, perhaps you've washed your face, you've had a shower, whatever, pat the skin dry, then you do your, you know, it's like literally three or 4 minutes of red light therapy on the face.
Okay.
And then you can obviously carry on with whatever else your routine requires. And then same thing at the end of the evening. You don't have to do it twice a day, but some people like to do it twice a day. It's also very good for sleep, incidentally. So then the end of the day, you presumably wash your face, cleanse it, this and that, and then before you put on any night creams, again, a short treatment with the red light, and you should be good to go.
Okay. I'm thinking of, so we've talked about the perfect routine. So I get that. You would do it preferably first thing in the morning when you've had your shower and before you put anything on. And you don't need a sunblock, so it's not going to damage the skin. You just need to have just clean skin, and then you can sit under. And so then because you have quite a few devices on your website. So if somebody wanted to use it for anti-aging, which one would you recommend as their sort of starter device?
Well, so that is a fantastic question, and it's a question I get every day. And the answer, I guess, is it really depends on your very specific goals. So if someone said to me, look, I only want red light for my face, that's it, I'm not interested in anything else, then the smallest device we have is one of the Target lights. That would be perfect. It's small, it's just a light bulb that screws in, it comes with a cable, it's very easy to use, it fits into most desk lamps. So you could just have that simple device, position it on your dresser, establish your distance, and off you go. You do your facial like that. But when we come into this term anti-aging, it's sometimes like for me, when I first heard anti-aging, I thought it was just about beauty, right?
Yeah.
But there's more people talking about anti-aging as in like general health.
Yes.
You know, because like health is like the opposite of health is being, you know, is aging, actually, you know, not
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
bad way, not like, oh my gosh, you're 50, you're anti-health, but
Yes.
it's that the cells themselves start to get tired, and they
Yes.
start to produce less energy, and that less energy leads to, on the surface, it leads to wrinkles, it leads to, you know,
Yeah. That
unfortunately,
sallow looking skin tone.
exactly. But the same thing's happening inside. The same thing's happening with your bones and your muscles and your organs and your blood and your brain and your eyes. So, you know, in the one context, yes, it's very, very great for beauty, but in the other context, it's very, very good for health overall. And if your health is stronger, you know, you might not be thinking about putting the light on your belly or on your bones or on your brain, but if all of that is healthier, your appearance tends to be more, you know, quote unquote, beautiful.
Absolutely. I
Because
agree.
health, you know, health is the inside, and it manifests in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, that's why there's other devices, right? So you can get much bigger devices, because not only do you want to treat your skin and your face, which is a fantastic, you know, practice, but at the same time, why not treat your hormones and your muscles and your bones and your blood? Because all of that together is going to actually compound the benefits of any facial treatment you're giving yourself, whether it's the red light therapy or the other, you know, the other products you're using. So that's just a long way of saying that the smallest devices will work, as will the bigger devices, because you'll get more benefits and probably more beauty or anti-aging benefits for sure.
So in my research on this red light therapy, I found that Glamour did an article, and they refer to it as red light therapy may actually be the fountain of youth. And so from everything that you've said today, I'm tending to agree with this concept that it's the fountain of youth, and with no side effects, literally. I think it really is a game changer for most people.
It really, it's incredible, you know, and when I first got into it, it was more for like biohacking, just trying to, you know, live a little longer, be a little stronger, this and that. And when we started selling the devices and people started writing back to us like what the red light therapy was doing, like, it's like, without sounding like I'm exaggerating, it's saving people's lives.
Right.
Because people are living with so much pain and so much like discomfort and disease in their bodies. And, you know, some people write us like literally like, I was, you know, going to end my life because life becomes so unbearable. And then I tried red light therapy, and now my life has turned around. So this is a beautiful product if you're just, you know, looking for some anti-aging, you're looking to turn back the clock a little bit, but it can be a miracle maker.
Much more. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a miracle maker.
I realized too that it says it's good for dementia, dental pain, hair loss, osteoarthritis, tendinitis. I mean, apart from wrinkles and the signs of aging, this has so many implications that could just reverse those signs of aging. So I have fibromyalgia, and I was curious to know, because it's a bone and muscle sort of issue, if the red light could potentially help me with the pain.
That's so interesting that you said that, because just today we wrote a blog about fibromyalgia exactly. And we've got a number of clients. It's unbelievable you said that, because the people I was thinking about when I just told you this life-changing stories, one or two of them had or have fibromyalgia, and was living with so much pain until they got a red light device, and it's completely changed their life. So something I was actually going to say just before you asked that, as strange as it sounds, the older or the sicker that you are, the more red light therapy is going to benefit you.
Right.
Because of this fact that, you know, the cells are slowing down, the mitochondria are slowing down, energy production is slowing down. Maybe you've picked up some kind of lifestyle disease along the way. You know, so it's the older people, the more sickly people, it's an absolute lifesaver for them.
Well, I think I'm completely sold on getting mine because I'd like to try it and see if it helps with the pain, because every doctor has their own ideas about why you have fibromyalgia, but nobody can tell you how to cure it because there is no cure. So you just live with this pain that's unexplainable, and then they put everything down to stress. And so, you know, you're living in a world that's filled with stresses. And those stresses obviously are part of the reason why you would go into this rapid aging phase of your life.
Do you mind if I ask you, like, what your pain is like, or what kind of pain you have?
So it's in every muscle and every bone. So like all my joints ache all the time, as if I have arthritis, but I don't have arthritis.
Wow.
So waking up in the morning, I'm like 100-year-old for 5 minutes to sort of get my body, you know, moving slowly so that I can then be able to walk. It's right into my feet, into my toes. I've done loads of detoxes because I thought, okay, inflammation, maybe there's a buildup of mucus, so let me do a mucus detox. That didn't help. You know, lots of other detoxes to try to see, okay, maybe it's heavy metals, maybe it's all these other things. Maybe I need to clean out my liver and my pancreas and a million different things. And I still have the same issues. I changed my diet. Like you, I tried to be vegetarian and I just felt tired all the time. It just wasn't for me either. And I think you're South African, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think South Africans, we love meat. Like you can't have a braai without meat. So I grew up with this love of meat. And so cutting it out was, you know, a really big deal. So getting back to how, you know, I try to cut out all these things that my body was used to, and that didn't help either. So now I'm looking for natural, healthy, organic ways of healing my body.
Well, you know, I can never promise anything to anybody because you know, everybody is so different, but from the reviews that we've had and the testimonials we've had, specifically about pain, and even the ones specifically about fibromyalgia, it has been life-changing for them. So if that's what you're going through, it should really be something you should try. Absolutely.
So for the fibromyalgia, you would recommend a larger light?
Look, I have reason to believe that any size light would work, but I do think bigger is better, because in your example where you've said you've got pain from head to toe, it makes sense to me that you would then want to cover as much of your body as possible. Gotcha. To help as many cells as possible get the light, create extra energy, create extra anti-inflammatories, and hopefully, you know, spread the benefits faster. That being said, you might get pain relief from the small light, but it might take longer than it would have with a big light.
Right. Because you could probably move the smaller light from area to area, so it'll just take you a longer time to work through your whole body. Okay.
Exactly. So, you know, my thinking is that anyone will work, but from how I understand it, it probably makes sense to get something bigger, at least.
And so I know we touched on it a little bit, but so there's no health conditions that prohibit you from using the light. So I know some people, maybe if you have a pacemaker, you can't have anything that has magnets. So there's nothing like that in this, right? Okay. So that's something we're not 100% sure of. Okay. So it comes with the caveat of, if you have any kind of electronic device like that installed, it's probably not going to cause a problem, because, you know, it doesn't seem to affect many other aspects of life. And cancer, we're not 100% clear on what it does with cancer, because it brings, you know, quote unquote, extra energy to the body. We don't know if it brings extra energy to cancer either. Okay. So, you know, we have clients that have cancer and use the lights and love it because it brings pain relief. Okay.
So, we've said like, hey, we don't know what it's going to do to cancer. And they say, I don't care. I'm in so much pain and this helps me. That's all I'm worried about. And, they're free to obviously do what they want. But
yeah,
then there's also a slight warning with photosensitive medicine. Because I'm not an expert in that, but there are some medicines that are photosensitive. So if anybody's taking those, they usually know if they are, and then they just need to consult with a doctor.
Right, like Roaccutane or something that's for your acne. Yeah, anything that will thin the skin. I think hydroquinone, those types of things will probably, so something like an anticoagulant that's going to be helping you to regulate your blood, making it either thicker or thinner, depending on what's your issue. I know sometimes those people can't eat certain things, maybe like spinach or whatever, because it will change the thickness of the blood. And so the light probably changes that, right? If it's stimulating blood flow or something like that.
So in that regard, what it's doing is it's helping the cells release nitric oxide into the blood, which is then, it's causing like vasodilation. So it's causing an expansion of the blood vessels to aid with blood flow. So, there's never been any problems with that. And it's, I'm just thinking about like stroke patients or stroke victims. It's very, very, very good for stroke recovery, actually, for the brain and for nerve damage. But in my mind, it's just like, well, if the stroke was caused by blood flow on the brain, then maybe increasing blood flow on the body is not a good idea. But then all the science is saying that it's so good for stroke recovery. So, that's what we know right now. But at least the science is saying that it's really, really good for stroke. So that gives me confidence.
So there's some research that talks about with cancer patients that infrared sauna can be quite helpful. So the infrared sauna is different to this type of light, right? So it's got a red light in it. I have one at home. So is that a different kind of light to the red light therapy?
Well, yeah, it is. So, but what we need to focus on is the infrared part. Okay. So most likely the red light that's in your sauna is just a normal red light, just to kind of give it that sense, that feel. Okay. It's just kind of, well, actually, no, it's saying red light's very relaxing. So I mean, around me, you can see the whole place is lit up in red, because at night it's very, very relaxing. So that's probably why it's beneficial in a sauna, because it helps you relax.
Right. And it's probably why they have it in the red light district.
Exactly, because you're nervous as hell when you walk in. Yeah. You're so nervous when you walk in, you need to chill out a little bit. So what makes you hot in a sauna is, in an infrared sauna anyway, is far infrared light. Now, far infrared light is different to what we use in red light therapy. In red light therapy, we use near infrared light. Okay. They're literally on the opposite ends of the infrared light spectrum. Near infrared penetrates your cells. Your cells use the near infrared to create more ATP, more cellular energy, and to release anti-inflammatories. The far infrared heats the water around your cells inside your body, and then kind of heats you, as they say, from the inside out. So they're both very, very good for you, but they both are doing very different things to the body.
I got you. Okay, so I mean, I didn't expect to run through. I'm so excited about the conversation and about the topic that I've run through my questions. So I guess we can just have a chat now about the red light, and we also have a special gift that we're going to offer the viewers, which I'm really excited about. So they can use a code and buy one of your wonderful devices and get a discount. So I'll be sharing that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing that I would love to give is the guide, right? Because it like listening to a podcast like this or watching the video, it's like great. And then I always feel it's great to get something, well, it's not necessarily in your hands, it's a PDF guide, but to get a guide and look through it and see the science and have the links to the studies and see the devices and see exactly how you use it. So what we have created for you is a link that you can share with your community, and they can click that. It's completely free. They don't have to buy anything. They can download the guide and they can read for themselves, and then, you know, look around, speak to friends, look at reviews and stuff like that. And then if they want to buy, of course, you know, that's also good. That's also good.
Okay, perfect. So we're offering a free guide and then a discount for when they want to purchase the device. And exactly. Once they have had a look at the guide, they'll know which device they want to go for, because then they'll understand a little bit more about it. And I'm sure if people have questions, they can just find you on social media at Red Light Rising.
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. What would you say is the okay, I will rephrase that because I've already asked it, because I wanted to know what was the time frame that you should use it at a time. So you're saying 3 to 4 minutes is the optimal time frame for beauty.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then if you wanted to do something more, like for a fibromyalgia, and you had a bigger device, what would be the time frame?
So the time frame would get probably slightly longer than that. You know, maybe the 6 to 10 minutes, depending on what the situation is. But it's all very, very short treatments. You know, you never ever need to spend more than 15 minutes at a time doing it. And if you were spending 15 minutes, it was because you're doing your back, and then you're doing your front, and then you're doing your lower body. So, you know, without like kind of derailing, you know, what we're talking about, Chad, like it's really one of those things where it's so beneficial for so many different things that it's actually worth, like, you know, even if your goal is like, man, I really want to, you know, reduce some of these fine lines and wrinkles, it's fair enough. But it's so powerful and so profound. Like, people might be thinking like, oh, I just want to improve my skin complexion. But then you ask them, how's your sleep? Oh, my sleep's terrible. Oh, the red light therapy is going to help you with sleep as well. You know?
Yes.
How's your mood and energy? Oh, I'm pretty cranky, pretty low energy. I got to drink a lot of coffee. Red light therapy is going to help your mood and your energy as well. So, you know, people, what they often tell us, you know, if they leave us a testimonial review, they say, oh my gosh, I bought this light for my Achilles tendon. It was giving me so much pain, and I'm sleeping so much better. Wow, and my skin looks so nice. My nails are growing so fast. Like, it's one of those things where, like, even if you're just using it for skin, you can't help but get all the other benefits.
Right.
Because you know, when the light hits the body does what it wants to do with the light. It does what it needs to do with the light. So it's truly something that I'm super grateful that I stumbled into it, to be honest. It's such a positive thing.
I noticed that you've worked with LMS, which is Dr. Eniot with Human. So I've been going through my journey to beauty and wellness with Human. And we were talking about having my eye troughs sorted out, because I was so, you know, model and do some stuff. So I was so conscious of having these dark circles and the hollowing in my eye troughs. And I was like, oh, Dr. E, I need some filler and stuff. And he was like, no, you need a good night's sleep. So I got some supplements from him called Dreamer. And I've been taking those. So I think now that I've been having those and having a better night's sleep, I don't need the filler. And so that and the red light, you know, don't think I'm going to need much more than that. That's going to help me sleep. I'm going to look fresher.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head, right? So now if you get a light, you've got something for your skin and your beauty, you got something for your sleep, and you got something for your pain. And all of that put together is still only 10, 15 minutes a day. Right. And amazing. You could have, I mean, I can't promise you because everybody's different, but you could have incredible results in all those angles. Imagine sleeping well and then waking up with no pain.
I mean, sleeping well and waking up glowing.
Right.
I mean, right. And you have no pain. So It's just, it sounds like a dream.
You know, if you have no pain, you would be more beautiful. You're very beautiful as it is, but you would be more beautiful just because of that pain energy that you're no longer dealing with. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes, but I see it in my face. There's like a constant, not a grimace, but there's like, you know, the muscles in my face are tight, tense more than they should be, because I'm not relaxed and whatever. I'm always like dealing with something. And I think this is definitely something that I would invest in.
Yeah. You know, like eliminating pain is like the same as adding more years to your life. Because when that pain is gone, like you say, you're just relaxed. Your body relaxes, your digestion will get better, your sleep will get better, your mood, your thyroid hormones, everything gets better.
Yeah. We don't really realize how important sleep is. And only when you are sleep deprived can you see the impact that it's having on your body.
Yeah, I mean, like you're so correct. I mean, as a male, you know, admittedly, I tend to use my red light therapy from my throat down. You know, it's always, for me, it's always about my muscles and my bones and my you know, I've had a knee surgery, so I'm getting over that. But it helps so much with my sleep. And I'm very conscious of my sleep habits and my sleep hygiene. But like you say, like, so I'm used to what my face looks like, right? Usually no bags or whatever. But if I have one late night, you know, and I'm talking like 10 p.m., I wake up the next day and there's bags under my eyes from one night's bad sleep. Crazy,
yeah.
huh?
I thought that was just me because of age. Because you know, in my 20s, I could go out for 2-3 days in a row and still be cute. Now I'm suffering for 3 days after one night out. So
no, it's so not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
whenever people,
like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when people ask me to do something, I'm like, yeah, but it's got to be while the sun is up. I only go out while the sun is up.
Right. And in bed by 10. So are you on quite a strict regime then for yourself personally? Do you eat at specific times? Okay.
Yes.
No alcohol.
Yeah. No alcohol. I try to do everything at almost exactly the same time every day. And there's a couple of reasons.
Monotonous?
No, it doesn't. You know, it's because that's the way I want it. You know, for starters, you know, if it wasn't the kind of life for me, I guess I would be living a different life. But I do it for two reasons. I do it for organizational reasons, because there's a certain amount of things that I have to get done every day that I want to do for myself. But I also do it for health reasons, because the circadian rhythm, which is the 24-hour cycle that the body goes through every day, the body likes to do things at the same time every day. Okay, and absolutely. So the most obvious thing about that is it likes to go to sleep and it likes to wake up at the same time. And many people will be nodding their heads and they'll go, oh my gosh, yeah, you know, I wake up at 6 no matter what. You know, I wake up 3 minutes before my alarm every single day. And that's because your body has got tuned to that time. Your body's always counting, right? It's always counting time. And the way it does that is with light. So, you know, what a classic, the obvious example is in nature, the sun comes up, that light is supposed to land on your skin while you're sleeping, and that wakes you up. Your body senses the light and you wake up. And then your body goes, okay, the sun is up, it's daytime, and all the waking up hormones happen. You know, the cortisol rises, the melatonin gets suppressed, the adrenaline rises, and you should have energy to go through your day. But everything else is counting as well. So that means that if you have breakfast every day at 8 a.m., your body will then start to expect food at 8 a.m. every day. And it will actually start to prepare for digestion before you've even eaten. Because it knows it's coming. So therefore, if you eat at the same time every day, you will digest food a lot more efficiently. And your body will be able to, you know, do whatever it needs to do with the food more efficiently. Same goes for exercise. If you exercise at the same time every day, your body will learn to expect it. It'll increase blood flow to the limbs, increase blood flow to the muscles before you've even lifted a weight, because your body knows that it's coming. So the converse of that is that if I work out at 9 a.m. today, but tomorrow I work out at 4 p.m., 4 p.m. is usually the time when actually 4 p.m. is usually the time I'm having, preparing dinner. So my body is thinking about food, but actually I've messed up the whole routine, and now I'm lifting weights. So there's a slight overlap and a bit of, unnecessary stress there to switch between the two processes. So that's why I, as pedantic as it might sound, I try to keep everything almost to the half hour with what I do.
So you wake up at what time?
I wake up usually around, well, I open my eyes usually between 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it's starting to get a little bit cold here in South Africa. It's starting to get dark in the morning. So I'll kind of stay in bed till about 6:30. Then I'll kick the sheets off, and that's when I get up and, I'll go through my morning process. So let's just say 6:30, a bunch of water, a little bit of salt, just some light movement around the house. I'll open the door, go outside, see what's going on.
You said water and then salt.
Yes, a little bit of salt, yes.
What kind of salt?
Pink salt, really, really high quality salt.
Just in the water?
Yeah, I mean, whatever's easier. I just put it in the palm of my hand and neck it and then drink the water. And
what does that do?
Salt, it hydrates you straight away, right? So if, a lot of us get dehydrated through the night, especially if we're mouth breathing, you fall asleep at night and your mouth falls open, you're breathing through your mouth, so you're getting dehydrated. So getting salt and water first thing in the morning, it's like drinking a Red Bull. The salt just gives you, it gives you so much energy. It's incredible. So
I had a urine test today that came up as me being slightly dehydrated, but I've actually been drinking so much more water than I've ever drank before. And I've got this alkaline water system at home that I've been trying to drink lots of alkaline water. I know there's studies that say that that's not even a thing, but that is a good tip, because I'm constantly feeling dehydrated. It's obviously being confirmed now in my urine test, and so I'll be trying that, a little bit of Himalayan salt in the morning.
Well, the reason why you're dehydrated despite drinking so much water is because that water's filtered. So when it's filtered, all the salt is taken out of it as well. All the minerals, the magnesium, the sodium, the potassium, and the actual table salt is taken out of it. So even though you're drinking loads of it, you're not getting those minerals. And it's actually those minerals that dictate whether you're hydrated or not.
Right.
So that's why you could...
I was just going to ask, what kind of water do you recommend then? Do you...
Well, absolutely recommend filtered water 100%, because of all the other garbage that's in water. So the more filtered the water, the better. But the problem is it's then dead water. There's nothing in it. That's the problem. So that's why you've got to add some salt back in. Whether you go for those, there's all those electrolyte companies now that sell electrolyte powders or electrolyte liquids and all that, or you just get really high quality mountain salt. It's better than sea salt, so Himalayan mountain salt or real salt from the States, if you can get your hands on that. And just eat that liberally, put it on your food, have a couple of half teaspoons a day as you're going through the day. If you're hot and sweaty or working out, take even more salt. If you're traveling, take even more salt. If you're spending time in air-conditioned buildings or apartments, take even more salt, because all of that sucks the moisture out of your body.
Okay. So I read somewhere that mineral water like a Evian versus a Buxton, which is the spring water, that you should be drinking more spring water. Do you agree with that, or do you think all the bottled water is pretty much the same?
No, I think there's probably good value in drinking water that comes straight out of the ground. But that's like, it's literally case by case basis, because it might indeed be a spring, but it could be a spring that's running through an industrial estate. So you never know what's in there, what's out of there, so the more natural the water, the better, for sure. I mean, like, the best water to drink is mountain water, like that's running through the mountains and through the rocks and moving and naturally, and you know what I mean, where you just stick your hand in the river and drink that. That's like truly alive, right?
Yeah.
But
when you're living in the city, how do you get hold of that?
Yeah, so when you're living in the city, just you know, a really, really good quality filter or whatever else you've got at your place, and then adding good quality salt.
Okay. Okay. So your morning routine after you've had your salt, then.
So then what do? I then take my red light therapy. I do a little bit of Wim Hof breathing while I'm still lying in bed, actually.
Okay.
So I do that, and then I'll have my water, my salt. Then I have some red light therapy. Then I actually usually put on some music as well. I like to, you know, sometimes I just like to move and have a little dance first thing in the morning, because I work out in the morning.
Okay.
So I like to wake up as fast as possible so I can get my workout done as fast as possible. And I find that dancing is quite a good way to warm up, because, you know, you can kind of just freestyle it and go through all the joints and get all the blood flowing.
Right.
Then I put my shoes on and I go for a walk just up and down my road just to get that morning sun. You know, I get a fantastic sunrise here. So I get some morning light right after my red light therapy. Then I brew a coffee, and then I'm off to the races in the little home gym that I've got. I do my workout, and I'm in the sun all morning. You know, the first 3 hours of the day, I'm outside in the sun, which is very, very lucky. I know most people can't do that. And then straight after my workout, I usually take a hot shower, and then it's breakfast time, which is usually around 10 a.m. So it'll be beef. I eat just a lot of meat. I'm on a very high protein diet. So I'll have a steak for breakfast, and then I work all day. And what I do is I set a timer on my phone, and I just do 40 minutes of work and then 15 minutes of just movement. So I'll work away for 40 minutes. Alarm goes off. I get up. I'll go outside. I'll clean something. I'll potter in the garden. I'll come inside. I'll do the dishes. I'll do some chores around the house just to move and to change my visual environment and get more light in my eyes and in my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then work all day. And then around this time, when it starts to get dark, I start to shut things down. I start to, you know, switch off the artificial light. I'll close the laptop. I'll put on some very, very gentle, calming music, like really make the house like a sanctuary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just read. I'm reading books and this and that, and kind of really relaxing. And then 8:30, it's lights out, everything is off, Wi-Fi is off, and I go to sleep.
Stop working if you turn Wi-Fi off. Are you sure?
Sorry, my Siri has just come up. Close Siri.
No need to apologize.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Goodbye, Siri. Okay, because it was about to turn the Wi-Fi off. That would have been a disaster.
So I noticed that you wear red glasses. And so is that part of the red light therapy? What do the red glasses do?
It's not part of the red light therapy, but it's the other side of the coin of red light therapy. So, you know, red light is very, very good for you in all the ways that we've discussed, but it's also very good in the sense that, you know, as you can see, my environment is red, and this red does not disrupt sleep hormones. It doesn't disrupt the sleep onset, because sleep is guided by light, right? So when it's very, very bright light, your brain thinks it's daytime. So it's not going to start the melatonin pumping through your blood to make you sleepy. So what the red light in my environment does is it helps me to see. First of all, I can still go about and do stuff in the house, but it's not disrupting my sleep. As far as my brain's aware, it's nighttime. It is nighttime, and my brain is preparing for sleep. Now, the glasses are an extra layer of protection for like moments like now when I'm on the computer after dark, and it's stopping most, if not all, of the artificial light that's coming off the computer screen and going into my brain and telling my brain, confusing my brain, should I say.
Okay.
So they're called blue blocking glasses.
Okay, because so I have my glasses that I wear when I'm working, and they have a blue light filter on them that's meant to be doing what you just said the red does. So is it a different thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's pure physics, okay? The physics of light. And the clear lenses, unfortunately, there's been a little bit of ambiguity in the marketing of the clear lenses. So what honest companies will do that are selling clear lenses, they call them computer glasses.
Yes.
So if you look very closely, they don't say blue blockers, they say computer glasses, which is right, because what they're doing, they're actually only blocking violet light. Because when you look at the color spectrum, violet is just before blue. So they block the violet light, which is, it's not great to get that in your eyes at a high amount, but it's actually more the blue and the green light, which is when we get further along the spectrum, it's more the blue and the green light that is disturbing the melatonin production in your brain.
Right.
So those glasses would likely be good for your eyes in the sense that they would be less stress for your eyes, hopefully less tension headaches, less eye fatigue, this and that, but it's not blocking blue or green light from entering your eyes and disturbing your brain. The only way to know if your glasses are working is they have to be yellow, orange, or red lenses.
Okay.
And yellow, orange, and red blocks different degrees of blue and green light. So the ones I'm actually wearing now actually have yellow lenses, and they block 95% of blue and green light, but the red lenses block 100% of blue and green light. So when I put them on, everything is red because no other colors are able to penetrate through the lenses. Only red light is penetrating through. So again, the light that's going in my eyes is only red, and that does not disturb sleep.
And so then in the daytime, in the daylight, do you find that your eyes are sensitive because you so strict in, not having your eyes having this artificial light?
No. In real daylight, my eyes are actually stronger than they've ever been. Oh, because wow. I used to be a sunglasses guy. I used to be, as soon as I leave the house in the morning, sunglasses all day, because I just couldn't take the light. And that's because your eyes are weak, right? If you have to wear sunglasses, your eyes are weak. But what actually does bother my eyes now is artificial light. Because I've, like anything, you get conditioned to it. So before I started wearing blue blockers, artificial light at night didn't bother me. My house was lit up like most normal people with LEDs and downlights and this and that. And whenever I went out, you go to a mall or whatever at night and that bright, horrible light, it didn't bother me. Then I started blue blocking, and then my eyes, my eyes just are sensitive to it now. Yeah, I guess my eyes are now sensitive, not to the sun, but to the artificial light above me. So now if I do go into a building at night, the bright white light is just so offensive to me. So that does kind of suck, because you tend to want to wear your glasses then all the time when you're out in public after dark. But it's worth it to me, because we know that light isn't good for your eyes.
Yeah.
Or your health or your brain and everything else.
Like literally, I have been completely blown away by all the benefits and just how strict you are with your regime. Clearly you're getting benefits. You look super healthy. Like I said, I'm obsessed with watching your workout videos, although I don't work out. I'm ashamed to say. I think this is the fibromyalgia. I just have such a hard time in the recovery phase of after I've done some exercise that is so painful that it just makes me, not want to do anything. So
that's understandable.
Maybe we can talk next time about some tips for people who, need to still keep a bit of flexibility and strength, but don't want to be ripped.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it takes a long time to be ripped, and it takes a lot of dedication with diet and all that, because it's what I've learned in my own experience is that I desire to be ripped, so that's why I live the way that I do live. But if it's not your desire, then you're not accidentally going to be ripped, that's for sure.
Okay. There's no danger of that here.
No, you won't accidentally wake up with giant biceps. But the benefits of strength training cannot be overlooked, because you need to be strong, right? Yeah. Especially as time goes by and everybody gets old, if you can maintain some level of strength into your old age, what that means, very briefly, I know we're going off topic. If you make your muscles strong, at the same time that your muscles are getting strong, your bones and your brain is getting strong as well. Because whatever hormones you release while you're lifting weights, those hormones build bones and they build the brain. So that's why strength training is important, because we've all seen it. We've all got, grandparents. When you get to a certain age, and if you haven't been working on your strength, you become, unfortunately, a bag of jello.
Yeah.
And then one fall, break a hip. If you've been lifting weights for the last 20 years, not crazy, not bodybuilder.
Yeah.
If you've been lifting weights, from your 40s, 50s, 60s, chances of breaking a hip are much lower.
Well, I actually I fractured my knee and my elbow in December. And it's the first time I've ever fallen and fractured anything. So I know that they're not as strong as they used to be, because obviously I'm nearly 50 and I've managed to stay in one piece since then. But definitely on my new journey of wellness and getting my body healthy and strong, that's going to be part of the journey.
Good.
And I think my red light can really help me to strengthen those bones and muscles.
Absolutely.
So Bryan, it was absolutely amazing chatting to you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to educate us on red light therapy and the benefits and how we can look beautiful for longer. And
you're absolutely welcome.
Okay, so we will, I think that's it. That's been a fabulous chat. Can I just ask one last question? I mean, I can edit this out, but in your room with the red light, is that just a red bulb then, or is it the same kind of red light for therapy?
The room that I'm in right now?
Yes.
So the one behind me is actually, that is a target light. That's one of our therapeutic lights.
Okay.
But only because that's the only one that would fit into that lamp. But the one in front of me there is a normal red light bulb.
Okay. So I was just wondering.
So for ambient light at night, you can get a normal red light bulb and just stick it in your lamps. I mean, that's actually what I advise people, because obviously you do want normal light sometimes. Sometimes you need normal light to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But when you're ready to call it a night, then you can switch on all your lamps, and your lamps will have the red bulbs, and I can't stress enough. It turns it into the most beautiful sanctuary. The red light is just incredible.
Okay, I'm going to get that sorted. That's a great tip. Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And
you're absolutely welcome.
I'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.